the perspective of the lecturers whose papers you are being forced upon the students. The point I want to make is that you may conduct examination for my course because I have given out the questions. You ultimately will give me the scripts to mark. Don't you think my emotional behavior could influence how I'm going to prepare the marking scheme, the standard I will put, and things like that? That, okay, you may force them to do the exam. They've done the exam. I want to do my grading. And if that type of thing play out, it snowballs into another crisis. So I was thinking the management of the university, especially the vice chancellor, will have been much more matured in addressing the students, and rather than saying it's a win-win situation. That's the point.
If I get you clearly, we have not arrived. Let us get to the bridge before we cross that. Let us get to the bridge before we cross that. We have not arrived at that. When we get to that, I think the university management, in collaboration with ASUU, will take a reasoned position in order to avert any future crisis. Now, the issue of taking up lecturers' courses to examine them among them is out of the question now. We are discussing about the question of the moment, and the question of the moment is that we are conducting exams, and some lecturers, about 10 to 15%, have bowed out of the exam. We believe and we pray that they will see reading and come back to conduct the examinations, so that there will be no after-effect crisis.
All right, Professor. Just before you go, could you tell us what do you think will happen after these exams end in Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka? Will you all eventually agree to join the strike? What do you see happening?
Yes, we operate by the process of we operate by due process. Anything we do, we go back to our Congress and to the stakeholders of Nnamdi Azikiwe University to consult. We wouldn't know what the decision will be for now until after the examination. But in our press briefing during the starting of the examination, we pledged that we might have decided to go join the strike, and it's still a contingent matter. It's still a contingent matter until we finish the exam and go back to the Congress to get their consent to take any action. Thank you.
All right, Professor Madabu Chiduko, thank you for speaking with us today on Sunrise Daily. Well, yes, indeed. He's a professor of philosophy in Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka. Yes.
What is interesting there is that from the tone of Prof, it's not as if they're against the strike. It's the management of the strike action that is a problem there. The majority, the issues are clear to all our members. The issues are clear. But the other thing is, do we do this during the strike, or do we do this? And it's always contentious in all branches.
Do you think there's anything wrong in finishing the exams, then going back to the trenches? Especially if you have started or you're about to start.
Interestingly, they will have applied for a waiver from National.
Okay, that's a procedure.
Interestingly, they had that opportunity, they had that window to say, like, even there, that, look, we are in the middle of exam right now, as I'm speaking. And Unilag was given that type of waiver in the past. And then people went with the impression that Unilag was exempted from the strike. Because at the time the strike was called, Unilag had 3 days to conclude their exams. And people sometimes exaggerate this thing called examination. Examination is just an end. The essential thing in the university system is the teaching.
But there's lecturers.
And when you are finished your lecturing,
see it that way,
when you finish your lecturing, you know, it's just like
they don't see
it's just
that
like somebody that is in cell for the last day starts shouting, "Come and remove me from here." So interestingly, what ought to be the point of emphasis is the quality of what went on in the classroom and laboratory. Examination is just a feedback.
Of course,
and everybody is delayed. Whether you are going for youth corps, if you were to, when I was undergraduate, I was doing my postgraduate, a year was cancelled because of ASUU strike. A session was removed, and it delayed me, even though I just started my postgraduate program then. So even the person in 100 level, you don't buy back time.
But in terms of, freshness, of having just learned something in class and, you're preparing, you're gearing up towards your exams, and then you're finally about to write it and you're told it's been postponed, go home.
If you're a good scholar, you prepare more. It gives you enough time.
For
bright students, they key into that window, seriously.
But that is no holiday. I mean, when you're on strike, you cannot be holidaying, can you?
If you have reading habits, you always have a reading habit. You see, most of the students we have to, and the way they bring us, in most of our families, they bring us up to pass and not to study. But if you bring children up and they have regular prep periods daily, they begin to have that reading habit and won't have problem with even examination.
Okay.
I think, really, you must see it from the perspective of students. It can be very nauseating when you have strikes like this. But the students too should also appreciate the fact that there was one time they were using blackboard and they are using whiteboards now. They should also appreciate that one time they were learning from the windows and also had to come in to stop all that. Like Prof mentioned, ASUU went to court. There was one time in Ibadan, I took their Senate to court, and the courts and the alumni, everybody had to come, and the thing was settled out of court because it was going to be very damaging to the certificates of those students. So you see, going to court is not a crime, but the most important thing is that you shouldn't take laws into your hand. That is
much as Nigerians want all of this sorted out, parents want this sorted out so that their kids can go back to school and possibly get the best. But in all of this,
so that my daughter can go back.
Okay, there you go. Interestingly, your daughter is in the schools here. Let's look at this one and see what happened here in this report.
This is the committee of the Senate and House of Representatives on Education, and we are here since trashing the issue that concerns ASUU. And they, ASUU, know pretty well that we are here discussing ASUU's matter. They have no reason to snub us and go away, and then you tell us that it did not work out. They worked out on us. They worked, even if they didn't want the minister, the institution of the National Assembly is desecrated, and I think I don't like it.
I want to say that the urgency in the plea of the Senate and House committees is not lost on ASUU. And the promise we're going to make here is that we are going to respond expeditiously in this regard, even as much as we also hope that the Ministry of Labor, the Ministry of Education has also had the desperation in our own place, especially with regard to renegotiation, to make an announcement on that, and some other matters. On that note, I want to say that we will try as much as it is within the ambit of the respect and the esteem in which we hold this house to do your bidding.
What happened there, Prof?
Now, you see, I can see the position in national leadership. I wouldn't speak for them, but they reacted to that sufficiently. You schedule a meeting of 3 groups, and you kept one group waiting. And that group kept telling you that we've been waiting all day. And you say, hold on, another group will come. The natural thing to do, even if you're going to have a lengthy interview, is to truncate the time. Say, come at so time, by which time, if you are allocating 2 hours to every group, rather than keep one group waiting all through, and while you are still meeting, you are telling the person, even when it is getting late, that she waits for 10 more minutes. Say, we'd rather come tomorrow. And 2, they are legislators. That is their job they are doing. When I begin to leave my main call as a lecturer, and I begin to hold series of meetings, of course, they are unionists. Of course, I am a unionist. Sometimes we even get cross, even locally. I said, Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have not had my lectures today, and you're keeping me here. I missed the first one, I missed the second one, and now I'm missing the third one. I go back and tell the student, you say, oh, sorry, we still have to wait. Please, can we reschedule it? It's not as if it's like working out. By the principle of the union, 1, you don't avoid meetings. 2, you don't walk out of meetings. If they have entered the chambers and they said you're walking out, The meeting never held. That is the truth.
So it wasn't that ASUU was angry, that ASUU and the other unions were being attended to first before ASUU?
No, that was not the issue. It was prolonged wait. You see, we've had a series of meetings with government over the years, and we know the antics of management. One thing is that keep them talking. Keep them talking. Even when you know you are not making progress, you keep talking. Series of meetings. And they will tell you we have made progress today. You know yourself that no progress was made. You're just rehashing the same story, repeating the same chorus. That is one of the antics. Another one is tire them out. Keep them there. When they are tired, they want to agree to everything you are saying. But we also have an antidote to that. Just remain calm and be focused.
So as it is now, what's the plan?
Well, I think a lot of discussions are going up at national leadership. Intermittently, they will call us for discussions and give us updates. But the interesting thing is that not even the national leadership have power to call off a strike. We still have to call a NEC meeting and we'll appraise the situation. And if it means going back to our congresses to report back and get referenda, we'll do that.
Okay, I have to squeeze in this one. Pardon me, everyone. Jayola Kajero says, why is it that medical schools are usually not on strike? Are they not part of the university system?
They are usually on strike. But let me tell you what plays out there. In some universities, you have the College of Medicine and the College of Medicine and the teaching hospital together. So there is a tendency of the lecturers being consultants to the hospital, and at the same time being lecturers in the college. So when you have this mix-up, you don't usually see a clear picture of the whole thing.
Okay.
But in some universities, you have the college in a distant place from the hospital. Like in LASU now, you have the college at the main campus, you have the teaching hospital at Ikeja. But Unilag is built together. So the tendency is that things are blurred. But we have people on ground there that say, no, you have crossed your boundary.
Okay.
Because you could take your students to the hospital and be teaching them.
All right, Karo Ogbinaka is the chairman of the Academic Staff Union of Universities Unilag chapter. Thank you for coming on this morning.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
We'll return in just a moment here.